Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Draw with Rob. With me, Rob Biddulph. There I am, sitting at my little desk, the very little desk that I'm sitting at now to record this video. Now then, I am a children's author and illustrator. I live in London, in England. You might know me from books like this. It's called Kevin. It's all about this chap here whose name is Sid, who has an imaginary friend called Kevin, who's a great big vanilla and pink coloured imaginary friend. And Sid, whenever he's in trouble, he always blames it on his imaginary friend. So it's a really fun story, that one. Maybe you've seen this book. It's called Grrr. And it's all about a bear called Fred, who is, you can see he's a gold medal winning bear. He always wins the prize for the best loud growl at the Bear Olympics. But one day he loses his growl. So I wonder what happens there. Can you see this chap lurking in the background? I think he's got a big part to play in this story. So I think you might like that one. Go and find it, read it. It's fun. But we are here today to do a drawing together. Now, it's a very special bonus episode of Draw with Rob. Today is another one of our farming themed episodes. And this is going to be a fun one, I promise you. Right, today, do you know what we're drawing? We're going to draw some wiggly worms. Woo! Wiggly worms. Now, do you know what? Lots of people, they don't really like worms, do they? They say, oh, they're all slimy and horrible. But do you know what? I really love worms. They're fascinating, especially the way that they move. I could just stare at them for ages. Sounds a bit weird, doesn't it? But do you know what? Do you want to know why we're really drawing worms? I do like a wiggly worm. They are cool. But the main reason that I thought we'd draw them today is because April the 22nd, okay, is Earth Day, right? Earth Day. And do you know what's a really important part of our planet? Earth. I mean, it's named after it. There's the first clue. So Earth, the soil, is such an important part of our planet. Why is it important? Why do you think it's important? That's right, it's because that's where everything grows. You know, we need really good and healthy earth so that we can help everything grow in the ground, the food that we need to eat, that kind of thing. So the earth is super, super important. And do you know who helps to keep the earth and the soil healthy? That's right, those wiggly worms. They keep our soil lovely and healthy, don't they? They do it. They you know what they do? They go into the ground, they go into the earth, and they dig all these little tiny tunnels, which these tunnels, it makes lots of little spaces in the earth, which gives the plants room to grow. So they're super, super important for creating the space for the roots of the plants to grow into. And without worms, things just wouldn't grow anywhere near as well as they grow now. So they're super important for everybody who grows stuff on this planet, especially farmers, because farmers grow quite a lot of plants, don't they? Right, let's draw a few wiggly worms, shall we? This is what you're going to need: a piece of paper and a pencil or a pen, maybe something to colour with a bit later. Actually, colours might be quite good in this one, I think. So go and grab all that stuff. This is how Draw with Rob works, in case you've never seen it before. Now, I visit lots of schools and I do lots of stage shows and things like that. And I always ask at the beginning, hands up if there's anybody out there who doesn't think they're very good at drawing. Lots of hands always go up. And I say, well, put your hands down, because I think everybody can draw. Some people just need a little bit more help along the way. So that's where I come in. So this is how it works. I'm going to do a little bit of my drawing on my piece of paper here. Then you can pause the video and you can copy exactly what I do. Then I will draw a little bit more. We're just going to break it down into little tiny bite-sized pieces. So you start the video up again, I'll draw a bit more, pause me, then you copy what I do. Start me up again, I draw, then you draw, I draw, you draw, I draw, you draw. And by the end, we'll have put all of those bits and pieces together and we'll have a lovely drawing that we're very proud of. Okay? Right. Shall we start? Let's do it. Right, I'm going to start today in a slightly different way. I'm going to take a green coloured pencil. Now, if you haven't got any colours to hand, don't worry, you don't need to do this in colour, but I'm going to do it in colour today. And I'm going to take my green pencil and I'm just going to start scribbling straight across the middle of my piece of paper in a very narrow line. I'm not just scribbling all over the place, but I am scribbling in a very sort of narrow, scribbly line straight across the middle of my page. Sometimes I think it's quite, when you're starting a drawing, it's a bit of a nerve-wracking process because you're worried about putting the mark down exactly perfectly, exactly how you want it on the piece of paper. So when you're doing something a bit looser and a bit rougher, like this, it's actually a very nice feeling, because you know it doesn't matter too much if you go wrong, because you're just doing a scribble. Oh, did you hear that doggy barking? Ringo, what are you doing? That's my dog, Ringo. I have a little cocker spaniel called Ringo, nearly 2 years old, and he has decided to start barking right outside my studio. Isn't that just like Ringo? So there we go. A little green scribble straight across the middle of my page. You'll see why I've done that a bit later. Now I'm going to grab my pen, my regular pen, and we're going to start drawing our worms. Now we are going to start on the left hand side here, just below our little bit of scribble. I want you to draw a curve that comes down like that. Okay, so just sort of like a quarter of a circle, something like that. Yeah? Then at this end, we are going to turn around and we're going to follow it back up quite close. And we're just going to stop again at that green line. This is an unusual one, isn't it? This one. Now I want you to imagine that this line here has gone straight through those green lines, green scribbles, and has carried on out the other side, and I want you to go up in that curve, so carry the curve around. Let's change direction, shall we? And we're going to start going back again this way, and then we're going to stop about there. Okay, so imagine that curve has come up and around there. Then let's keep going around and follow it back through again. And we're going to go right back down to almost where we started. Let's stop at the green line again. So imagine that joins up like that. So there we go. We've got a nice wiggly shape there. But that's not where we're going to finish, okay? What I want you to do next is I want you to draw a semicircle. Again, we're going to start underneath here. We're going to come down, and this time we're just going to draw a nice semicircle that comes all the way up like that. So semicircle that stops underneath the green. Then we're going to do another one just inside it. We're going to keep the distance similar to the distance we did on our first shape. Just like that, a little semicircle. Now, we're going to carry this line up and through, keep going around, but then we're going to stop about here, we're going to change our minds, and we're going to head back and stop at the green again. So it sort of looks like it's gone up and through that green that we drew. Let's do the same on this side. We're going to carry this line up, around, we're going to head over to this area here that we just drew, but before we get there we're going to stop, we're going to turn around. Can you see our shape's a little bit thicker on this side? But then it's going to come back and do the same thing. Go back down and join up there, like that. Another wiggly worm shape. Okay, let's do yet another one. This time, what should we do now? Let's come down here in a straightish line. We're going to turn around, head up. Oh, let's change our minds. Go back and then head back up to the green. There. Let's carry that one on through. We'll go up to here, slightly curvy, turn around and head back down, like that. I wonder if you can see what I'm doing yet. Okay, this one's going to come, we'll start again at the bottom. This one's going to come down about the same length. We're going to change our minds there. Oh, little smudge, don't worry about that. Do you know what I always say is if you make a little mistake, a little smudge like that, don't screw your piece of paper up and start again. Keep drawing, because I find that it's those little mistakes that actually give our drawing plenty of character. They're little happy accidents, and it's absolutely fine to leave them in. And actually, I think they are what give your drawing character at the end. At the end of your drawing, it's those little things. You can see here my lines aren't perfectly smooth. They're sort of a little bit smudgy, but that's what I really like about this. It makes it look like somebody has drawn this picture and it's not been done by a machine, which I think is really important. Right, where was I? Yes. This one, we're going to do this one going straight up. It's going to go right up towards the top of our page. We'll turn around about there, leave a bit of space at the top, and then we're just going to come straight back down. Stop there. Do you know what? I'm going to draw a little tiny circle above this one here, like that. can you see what we've done? It says soil, doesn't it? S-O-I-L, soil. We've spelt a word. We've spelt a word in worm shapes. That's cool, isn't it? Right, we need to make them look a little bit more like worms, don't we? So we are going to give our worms eyes. Now, in real life, worms don't have eyes, do they? They don't see with eyes. They see, in inverted commas, they see by sensing light and dark. That's how they sort of find their way around. So they don't have eyes. But you know what? I am an illustrator, so I am allowed to draw worms with eyes. It's the law. It's what we get to do. It's one of the privileges of the job. So this is how we're going to do it. At this end, right at the top of the S shape here, we're just going to draw 2 little circles right next to each other, like that. Very simple. 2 more little circles inside. 1, 2, and look, our little worm is awake. Let's make him a happy worm. We're going to add a little smiley mouth underneath, like that. A couple of little eyebrows. And look, there's our first worm. Now then, this one, his eyes are here, so we can do 1, 2 little circles. This one I'm going to do him looking up over here. Again, a little smile on his or her face. A couple of little eyebrows. There we go. Another worm starting to get character. Now, this one here, this little circle, you might think, what's that little circle? Worms aren't circular. Well, this one likes playing football. So look, he's headering a little football. So we've got to do his eyes, his pupils, right at the top of those eye shapes. So he's looking up at the ball. And let's do him smile. Let's do him with his little mouth open a bit. There we go. He's having a lot of fun with his football. There we go. We just add a couple of little lines each side of that shape. Look, it makes it look like it's moving. Should we turn it into a football? What you need to do is you just draw a little 5-sided shape like that, right in the middle of your football or soccer ball. And then we just add some more little shapes around it, like that. Very easy way of drawing little football. There we go. That worm's having fun. And then this big tall one, the letter L. 2 little eyes right at the top here. Let's do this guy looking straight at us, I think, with a lovely smiley face. There we go. Eyebrow, eyebrow. What eyebrows here? This guy. Now, eyebrows are really good for getting personality across. So look, slightly frowning because he's concentrating on his football. So there we go. Our worms are really starting to take shape now. Another thing we need to add to make them look even more worm-like, we need to add lots of lines going down their bodies, because worms' bodies are divided into segments. Okay, so they're sort of like rings that go around their body. They're sort of separate pieces almost of the body, and they circle the body, and this is what helps them move. This is what helps them be all wriggly and move, because they're in segments. If they were just one big piece, they'd probably just have to, you know, they'd be like a pen. They just roll along. So they're in the segments so they can wiggle around. So this is how we do that. We're just going to add lots of lines going down our worm's body. Just like that. Can you see I'm not quite touching the edges on all of the lines? Some of them I do. Some of them I just sort of do coming in from one side. Because we just want to suggest these sort of little segments. Like that, you see. And they don't have to all be exactly the same distance apart. Some are closer together and some are further apart. There we go. Do you see what I mean? So the RS looks nice and wormy now. I'm going to go into super speed mode to do the rest of my little lines because you don't need to watch me draw them. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. There we go. All the segments added to our worms. They really do look like little wormy characters. Now then, do you remember that green scribble we did right at the beginning? That was because our worms are half in the soil, half underground and half out. So what we're going to do, we're going to go into colouring mode in a minute, and I'm going to colour sort of brown soil all in that bottom half, and then above here is going to be like blue sky, because I wanted to make it look like the worms were half in and half out of the ground, because I thought that would be quite cool. So in order to do that I had to draw the green bit first, because I want that to be at the front, you see. Now then, if you like, when we go into the colour mode, you can add some little bits. So we've got our football playing worm here to make the letter I, but you can add other little bits to your worms if you like. You could add a pair of sunglasses or hats or little clothes and scarves and all that sort of thing. It's totally up to you what you do, but it's quite fun, isn't it, to bring a little bit of personality and character to our drawings. So you do whatever you like. I'm going to go into super speed mode to colour mine in. Now, in terms of the actual colours of the worms, feel free to do anything you want, really. You know the rules here. The more colourful, the better. That's what I say. In actual real life, most worms are actually sort of a brown colour, aren't they? Or a light brown colour, maybe grey. Maybe some of them are a bit more kind of red in colour. But do whatever you like. You can even make sort of rainbow striped worms. That might be quite fun, mightn't it? I'm going to probably stick to the traditional colours, but obviously do whatever you like. And yes, feel free to add hats and glasses and all sorts of things to your drawing. That'll be fun. Right, again, I'm going to go back into super speed mode to do my colouring, so I'll see you back here in 30 seconds or so. Okay, are you ready? Here we go. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Okay, so there is my finished drawing of my little worms in the soil. So you can see, as I said, I've coloured in the lower half. I've coloured it in a nice kind of muddy brown colour for the soil, and I've added little bits of sort of shadow straight underneath the green of the grass and a bit underneath the worms to show them sort of burrowing through. And then I've done some nice kind of sky colour behind them. I add a little baseball cap to this one, some sunglasses to this one. This is our footballing friend, and I don't know why, but this guy's got a little top hat and a bow tie. Why not? Why not? So, oh yes, you mustn't forget, guys, sign your works of art. It's very important. Sometimes I forget. Sign your works of art so that everybody knows who's created it. We need to shout about our pictures if we're proud of them, don't we, at the end of the day? So there we go, our little worms, little busy worms who do such an important job for our planet. Okay, not all heroes wear capes, guys. These worms certainly are heroes. Super, super important. And when you dig up, if you go into your garden or into the park and dig up a little bit of the soil, you'll find all sorts of living things there. Not only worms, but stuff like little mites. Look, like this chap here. Do you like him? He's my little mite character. And if you would like to learn how to draw my little mite character, you can find a nice downloadable printable sheet with step-by-step instructions of how to draw him if you go over to www.goodineverygrain.ca/draw-with-rob. Now I'm going to put that right here. There you go. There's the website, www.goodineverygrain.ca/draw-with-rob. If you go there, you can find a little downloadable sheet to help you draw that mite. You'll also find a free activity pack which your parents or your teachers can download, and that will tell you a little bit more information about why these friends of ours are so important to the soil and to farmers by doing the work that they do. So go there, download your free activity pack and enjoy it. Enjoy yourselves. Now, I'd love to see your drawings of your lovely worms. I mean, maybe you don't have to spell the word soil, you could spell your name in worms. That might be quite fun. But whatever you do, make sure you get your parent, your guardian, your teacher to take a picture of your drawings, and then if you post it on social media using the hashtag DrawWithRob, that way I will get to see it. So listen, I hope you've enjoyed drawing these lovely earthworms with me today. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a different one, hasn't it? But I've really enjoyed it. I hope you have too. I'm going to be back very soon with another episode of Draw with Rob. In the meantime, take care of yourselves, keep on drawing, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye, everyone.